Let me say this right off the rip. The most dangerous part of the Diddy documentary ain't what they showed you. It's what they tiptoed around. Because once certain names get whispered, once certain after-hour stories start circulating, that's when documentaries don't get longer, they get shut down. God bless us through this situation. Because this isn't just about one man in a penthouse. This is a pattern, and it's playing out in shadows all over the world. They want you to believe the story just wrapped up, that Netflix gave you the full picture. Nah, stories don't end like that when the world is glued to the screen. When interest is at its peak, platforms don't just say, yeah, let's stop here. They stop when the conversation starts drifting toward doors they cannot open. Doors that lead to rooms they cannot control. And trust me, it drifted. Now, here's the real line in the sand. It's not the illegal substances. It's not the relations. It's not even the abuse allegations by themselves. It's who was around, who was young, and who decided to stay quiet later, in the 90 seconds and the 2000s and beyond. Do you understand what that means? Once that lane opens up, it's no longer one man's story. It becomes an industry problem. Now let's talk about what people keep whispering about online. The rumors that won't die. The claims floating in the digital ether that people simply cannot shake. The so-called freak-offs. The private parties. No phones allowed. Strict rules. Who's invited? Who's watching? And who's participating? These stories didn't spawn from one source. They've popped up in sealed lawsuits, in old, forgotten interviews. They're hidden in plain sight, in internet chatter that just won't go away. And Netflix, they absolutely do not want any part of unpacking that. Because once you start, the questions explode. And this is where it gets deeply, deeply uncomfortable. Because the internet, it keeps circling back to specific names. Names like Justin Bieber. And the reason is terrifyingly simple. There is existing video of a young Justin Bieber in compromised positions. And when you see that and you know the circles he was in, your mind starts making connections you can't unmake. We don't know who else might be working with authorities. We don't know who has been told to stay silent to help other cases, to push evidence forward. Usher. Other young artists who came up fast, real young. The question people are screaming into the void is, why were minors in adult rooms? Where were the guardians? And she just doesn't know how hard her son fought for his life in the sheets with Diddy. They know nothing about this. That is not a rabbit hole a billion-dollar corporation wants its viewers to go down. Documentaries don't connect dots. They mention things separately so you don't line them up. Why? Because connecting dots turns nostalgia into suspicion, and suspicion turns into investigations. But people keep asking, why did Bieber distance himself so drastically? Why does he avoid certain conversations like the plague? Watch his interactions as an adult. The unease around Diddy is palpable. You can't unsee it. Netflix is fine showing chaos. They are not fine opening doors that pull in controversial receipts, that pull in parents, that pull in a whole roster of other celebrities, that raise questions about long-term protection. That's how one documentary turns into 10 subpoenas. This is where 50 Cent matters. Fifth isn't emotional. He's strategic. When he hints that more footage exists, that Cassie's full interview was shelved, he's not just gossiping. He's sending a flare. Y'all didn't even touch the real stuff. And the audience feels that vacuum. Here's a human truth we all hate. When critical details are missing, we know they're hiding something. We crave complete stories. And that's exactly why these forbidden names keep popping up, because of the avoidance itself. Once a documentary risks pulling in other A-listers, triggering airtight NDAs, forcing the question of who knew what and when, it stops being entertainment. It becomes a problem. So instead of addressing it, they shut the door quietly. Ever notice how some scandals blow over, but this one won't? It's because people instinctively know they were shown only half the picture. Too many voices are nervous. Too many questions hang in the air, unanswered. And that silence is deafening. Now, they could have added this in the documentary. They chose not to. So let's connect some lines they left dangling. At the center, of course, Sean Diddy Combs, but orbiting him is a whole ecosystem. We have Christina Horam, his former chief of staff. In lawsuits, she's compared to Ghislaine Maxwell. The complaint alleges she required staff to carry fanny packs with narcotics for Diddy's use, and that she ordered sex workers for him. We have Brendan Paul, alleged to be the drug mule, arrested at the airport. We have Fahim Muhammad, head of security, accused of covering up a shooting at a recording studio, a shooting witnessed by an accuser. We have Moy Bond, alleged to be the hire of sex workers. I'm predicting he will be the first to flip to try and get a deal from prosecutors before he goes down with the ship. We have names from the highest echelons of the industry. Lucian Grange, chairman of Universal Music Group, accused of participating in or concealing conduct. Ethiopia Haptimariam, former Motown CEO, alleged to have direct knowledge and funding ties, and it spirals out to associates. Stevie J, alleged recruiter. Young Miami, alleged to be on a monthly retainer. Even Daphne Joy, 50 Cent's baby mama, is listed in suits as a staff member. Funny how that didn't make Fifth's documentary, huh? If you're gonna tell the story, tell the whole story. Netflix has secret tapes. We know they do. So many ages not discussed. Timelines skipped. Relationships not traced. Environments not explained. Sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't the footage, it's the context. The scariest stuff never shows up in a neatly edited series. Alright, fam, right here is where I need you. This story is built on whispers and silence. What do you think they're not saying? What names make you pause? Drop your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. And tell me, what topic do you want me to break down next? And conveniently, they glossed over the fallout for his own children. Since the mogul has been locked down, things are crumbling. His adopted son, Justin Combs, sued for over $190,000 on a Bentley payment. Reports say Diddy cut him off, and it's alleged he threatened to cut all his children off if they didn't go online and defend him. He intimidated witnesses, he paid off hotel staff. You think he'd hesitate with his own kids? All of this purposely left out. Let me end it like this. The most dangerous part of the Diddy story was never about one man. It was about who else was in the room. It was about who was too young to be there. And it's about who benefits from the silence that is being enforced today. That is why the documentary felt incomplete. That is why this story will not die. Because when the truth gets too close to real power, that's when the cameras turn off. The editors pack up and the streamer moves on to something safer. That reaction, that fear, should tell you everything you need to know. They gave us a prologue and called it the whole book. But the real chapters, the ones written in sealed court filings, in hush settlements, in the trauma of those who were there, those chapters are still waiting to be read. This is Behind the Fame. We don't tiptoe, we dig. I want to hear from you. What did they leave out that bothers you the most? And what industry mystery do you want me to investigate next? Put it in the comments. I'm talking to you, because this conversation is just getting started.